Hey now, welcome to another edition of Refreshing Thoughts. I am your host, Chris Fresh, and this is a podcast, video cast that talks about toys and whatever is on my mind. Thank you for joining me. You can follow Refreshing Thoughts on Instagram and on Facebook and Blue Sky, and I will never be on X because Elon sucks. And for those that have already, I'd really like to say thank you to our Patreons. We've had quite a few more sign up than I expected. I expected one, Ben Sachs. And yeah, so if you would like to support the channel and Geek Dudes and Hey Hey, it's the podcast and the other things I am involved in, you can go to patreon.com/C/refreshing thoughts podcast/membership. And for $5 Australian a month, you can help support the channel. It helps me pay for StreamYard, which costs $8 zillion. But it's an exciting time for video watchers, maybe not for audio watchers, but I'm going to start small and then grow into something big. And something small your mileage may vary on what you're into. Sometimes I talk about geeky news and stuff that I'm into, and other times it's going to be a lot of what's come in. And I've had some pretty big things come in, and I think this episode, that's what I'm going to talk about because I had them come in today and I couldn't be more excited. Firstly, I have talked about my renewed love of Star Wars, and there was something at Star Wars Celebration that was really cool and not something I thought I would want to collect. And they had an exclusive at Celebration Black Series of the Ronin, which is from Star Wars Visions, which was a really cool episode. And I think they've done a comic about the Ronin. But I just thought the figure and the artwork and everything looked really cool. And it was like, if I was at Celebration, if there was one thing I was going to get, it would be the Ronin. And then started popping up on Amazon, and people at Celebration were filthy. Like they're queuing up, they're having to travel with this giant box. And then Nick G on the Toy Power Discord, like the Toy Power podcast, you can follow them on their socials, and I recommend listening to their podcast. It's better than anything I record, and it's an awesome toy show. Nick G, who was a recent guest, I believe, on their show, he gave me the heads up that EB Games had it at a really good price, like almost too good to be true, and that it may be different than the Celebration version, but check it out. And I thought I'd play the gamble and see, because I wasn't expecting it to be in stock or anything. And wow, in the mail, really quickly, came this thing of beauty. And I was looking at it and like, look at the box art on this. It is just beautiful. No credits for me to read for Hasbro, from what I can tell. I was talking about giving people their props and their dues, because some people, Mondo, for example, have been putting credits on their stuff, which I think is really awesome. But the Ronin came, and it was like, do I flip it? I've got a lot of big expenses coming on. I don't collect Star Wars, but this to me feels like an art piece almost. So here's what I'm going to do. It's sealed really nice. I don't particularly want to open it if I'm going to flip it, but it's got these little round stickers here, which indicates I can probably slide this off without minimal damage and have a look. And why don't we do it together? So Orange Knife of Doom used to threaten Paul Jones on the Geek Dudes podcast, which he really took offense to. Fair enough. Not a lot of people like having box cutters pulled on them. But Jonesy's had it coming for a while now. And look, if I was going to kill him, I would have done it a long time ago. I'm kidding. This probably gets me banned on YouTube or something. I don't know how that works. So I've done quite a slice on the round stickers, and we're going to experience this together. So I'm going to flip here. Oh, I like it already. Oh, I'm going to flip here. I'm bad at this. The lighting probably sucks. You don't want to see me. You want to see this. I apologize for the lighting. I'm going to try getting a good view. How cool is that? Hopefully you can hear me. The Yeti can pick me up through the box. That is a really nice set. I don't know where I'd put it even, but wow. I don't think I can sell this. I this is beautiful. Like, this is art. Um, like, you wouldn't open it, you'd want to display it and unfold it. So it says the Ronin and R5 D56, accompanied by his droid R5 D56. The Ronin becomes an unlikely hero to a small forest village when he defends them from a Sith bandit and her crew. Accompanied, oh no, sorry, it's just in multiple languages, which is fair enough. But this is like I shan't let it go. I don't think. I think I'm gonna keep that. Nope, it just dropped. It looks like I have to keep it anyway. I kid. So I did get that. Another thing I got. Excuse me for leaving camera. But you can look at my cool toys. So Dan Leonard. Dan Leonard is somebody that I have known through professional wrestling for a very long time. Dan worked at People and Picture magazine, which would be very well known to many young Australian men, or old Australian men. Actually, young men wouldn't have any idea. But he has worked in. He's a journalist, Dan, and worked in the print industry, and has done fanzines over the years. And I've been fortunate enough for Dan to send me his works. And recently, I saw Dan GCW, Game Changer Wrestling from America, and Renegades of Wrestling, which I'm the booker of, and crew promoter. They We did a show with GCW last year, and we traveled Australia. I was very fortunate to be a part of it. And when I was in Sydney, I ran into Dan. It was really good to see him. I have a lot of respect for Dan Leonard. He's a historian in my eyes, and you know, he's a muckraker like the best of us. But yeah, Dan, he's old school, and he's a throwback to me to a time when wrestling was magical still. And he reached out to Mikey J asking for my email address because he had lost contact with me and wanted to send me something. And he sent me in the mail a new magazine that he's made called Gold Belt Wrestling. Now, this is right up my alley. It's got a mixture of old Australian wrestling from the World Championship Wrestling days. It's got some ladies in there. It covers wrestling. Like, it's got a bit of everything. There's Caveman Agonies, Bonsai, like magazines like this, like Davey Damaged of Dave's Video Graveyard. I'm actually going to mention it to Dan. There's Dave's Video Graveyard there if you want to give them a follow. Really funny podcast, not safe for anywhere, much like Geek Dudes. Davey would love this magazine. Dan has really done an amazing job of putting this together. There's the great Ed Locke, a legendary Australian wrestling commentator who I got to commentate a show with in GCW pretty much at my insistence because I wanted to say that once I got to work with Ed Locke. But yeah, there's stories on Terry Funk. There's old school photos and everything. Like, just stuff like this doesn't get made anymore, and there were little inserts like the Crimson Mask, and it's like different wrestlers all bloodied up there. Bruiser Brody. Ted DiBiase and stuff, like, just really cool. Like, I don't think you can buy it. Maybe you can. I'll check out with Dan. But I don't even know if people have interest in that sort of stuff. I just thought it was really cool to be sent a fanzine and receive something like that in the mail. Um, it was just like I don't know. I just thought it was really awesome. It's a throwback to a time that sort of doesn't really exist anymore. Going to the newsagents, going to video libraries, etc. That was a thing of yesteryear. And I remember as a young man, I used to do the loop at Northland Shopping Centre. I'd go in, I'd go to the smaller newsagents, have a look at the video game magazines and the wrestling magazines. And then there'd be Pacific Computers, which was like a video game store and a computer store next door. You'd walk through, and at one point there was a Toy World there. Then eventually got a Toys R Us. There was a bigger newsagents next to sort of near where Kmart was, and yeah, like, and across the road they had like a homemaker center with all furniture stores and a Brash's, which was an old entertainment store, but it had Major Video, which was one of my local video stores. And these places were magical to me. Like, they were where I hung out and I consumed my entertainment. It's, Star Wars, it's wrestling, it's, all the things that made me me. Were there. Like, I sometimes wonder if retail workers go, there's that weird chubby little kid again doing the same loop that he does every Saturday morning. Or whether I just didn't get noticed, which was most likely. But I'm still a mall rat. Are you still a mall rat? Like, I do wonder that. I enjoy going to shopping centers still. Um, Jessie, my bride to be, doesn't. She came from America to Australia, and she said malls aren't really a thing in America anymore, and they're different. So, like, a shopping center or mall in Australia, like, it has a pharmacy in there, has your banks, has your greengrocers, your supermarkets, and your fashion chains and your toy stores and stuff like that, where it doesn't appear like grocery stores and chemists and stuff would be at a mall in America, which I thought was interesting. Like, just those little subtle differences. A lot of malls have closed in America, particularly as the onslaught of Amazon takes off. And I do worry that maybe that will happen here. But we saw after the pandemic, Australians returned to the mall. Like, what would kids do if they couldn't hang out at shopping centers and be annoying? But yeah, I have very fond memories of my time of being young. Um, but I'm going to do a brief pause here and come back to you with the main event, as I have to take my daughter to her acting class because she is an aspiring actress or actor. I don't think we gender base that, but I will be with you shortly and you won't even notice because it's just going to seamlessly cut. Look at that. It's just like I never left. Uh, I have been talking since Refreshing Thoughts started. It was Manny's mid-40s journey of moving from audio to video podcasts because I started listening to like Geek Dad Life and Toy Anxiety and Gotham City Tonight and Yes Have Some and Sega Lord X and people like that. And, Jay Glatfelter encouraged me saying that, just make the jump to video, man. It's not that bad. And so this has been a learning experience for me, as you can tell by the very average quality of content and appearance that this podcast is. But I have talked about since the beginning of how much I love the Mondo Safubi, not Safubi, soft vinyl Ninja Turtles. And they're forbidden fruit for us Australians because when you go to buy them from the Mondo website, and I love Mondo stuff, you've heard me on here rave about the He-Man and the Lion-O and their customer service, and I've pre-ordered the Peter Venkman and Egon with the ghosts. I love their stuff. Love it. Alex Brewer is a genius. Hector, Attack Peter, like all the team, they're all amazing. And I was seeing on these channels these soft vinyl turtles, and they look right up my alley. They're amazing. And you go to buy them, and they don't ship to certain locations due to licensing rights. Not Mondo's fault, it's just licensing is what licensing is. And guess where one of those places is? Australia. And it's already hard to collect in Australia because postage sucks. The dollar sucks. But I really liked these, and I told myself I'm somehow going to get one and it's always with me. It's rap, you know, um, and there's always a problem that I'm going to get to that occurs every single time. So, because I'm hopeless. So Big Bad Toy Store, who shipped to Australia, had the soft vinyl turtles listed for $89, which wasn't crazy. Well, not compared to some collectibles can cost. I was just talking about the maximum Spider-Man, which costs $90 Australian. Now I know I'm bad at posing. Leave me alone. We've gone over this. I'm not a review channel. I'm a old man talking about toys channel. Not that there's enough of us white guys doing that. But yeah, and lost my train of thought. That's what was bound to happen. Oh yeah, yeah. So I was looking at it, and they have a pile of loot system where you can gather multiple items and get them shipped, and hopefully save on postage. So I had one or two things like I always seem to mistime the pile of loot. I can never get it right, and they sort of sucks because it'd be a bad toy store add GST on, which is good to services tax and all that. But it was like, well, I'm going to get a wrap. I always get a wrap. I remember a few years ago, Secret Santa. My family do Secret Santa for Christmas because there's too many of us once we're all together, and I All Star Comics, which did Free Comic Book Day recently, and were amazing. Like you should support All Star Comics in Melbourne. Their Free Comic Book Day was incredible. I have neurodivergent children, and they treated my family with the utmost love and respect. They're always amazing, and I cannot recommend All Star Comics Melbourne enough. Maybe one refreshing thoughts. I'll actually give them a bit more of a talk up because they're amazing, and they were great with Connor and Hunter. Particularly, it's really hard for Connor. I've talked about him on Geek Dudes, and even on here a little bit. He's special needs. It's a term I would use. He's got perisylvian polymicrogyria, and doesn't really speak, has trouble walking and stuff. And just the patience and calm environment they did on Free Comic Book Day, which I could only imagine for them is stressful and hectic. It was amazing. So thank you to them. But anyway, short story long. They had a Super 7 Raphael, and I hadn't gotten into the Super 7 Ultimate Turtles. And we usually have a list that we supply of, gifts. You got to hit the $100 mark. And he was $99, I think, at All Star. And I put him on my list. And my nephew got me, and he got me the Raphael. And I was looking at it going, this figure is really cool. I always talk about when I was a kid, I always wanted my toys to look like the cartoon. And as an adult, I think I'm nostalgic for how the characters looked in their vintage toy form. So Super 7 did a really good job of making the turtles look like the Playmates turtles. So much so that they got in trouble over Rat King, which was, I guess, bound to happen. Anyway, so I got Raph, and now I've got about 20 Super 7 Ultimate Turtles figures. That's what happens. So I told myself I'm going to just add Raph to the pile of loot. And then it was like, if I do all this separately, you know, this is going to become a problem. And they showed the Super Shredder, which is incredible. And I've told the story of the saga of Super Shredder on here. It's really hard to get these things in Australia. And so I added Raf, and then 3 other turtles joined my pile of loot. And then, I in the pile of loot, I had like a Horde Trooper, Deluxe Horde Trooper. I had Toy Collector magazine, and that was about it. And and Mondo Lionel. Of course, that was a heavy hitter. So we added the 4 soft vinyl turtles, and shipping, just shipping, not the items. Shipping was $191 US, United States USD, to Australia, which worked out to be close to $350 Australian just in shipping. Anyway, so I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, as the expression goes. I think it goes. Don't trust me on that. And anyway, so it ships, and they ship it weird. So Lion-O and the other stuff ship in one box, and it comes via FedEx, and I get it within a week. The 4 Mondo turtles all get shipped separately and take close to a month to get here. And I was freaking out that they weren't going to get here. I'm paranoid. I'm thinking somehow Mondo is going to contact them and go, "Oh, please don't ship to Australia. Licensing, you can't ship there." I'm paranoid that they're going to get lost in transit. Like all of this, I've been a nervous wreck. I really love the look of these turtles and really wanted to collect them. And then magic happened. I get the notification that they're in Sydney, and that must mean Melbourne's next. They've cleared customs, and they've made their way to Melbourne. And here we are. So, in a box like this comes each individual turtle. So, a box like that was packed inside another box, a box in a box. And you get, with each figure, a backing board, because unfortunately the packaging's not resealable. I'm going to talk about that soon. But these figures, this is a collector's model. It's not a toy. It's for 14 plus. Lucky I'm 46. Licensed by Nickelodeon, made by Mondo. Hector, I don't want to mispronounce your surname. It makes you feel like an asshole. He was concept. Alex Brewer, the great Alex Brewer from Gotham City Tonight, was the sculpt. Mark Briscoe was paint. Jordan Christiansen was package design, and Aaron Connolly was package art. And the artwork is incredible. So the problem with just getting Raph was the problem I always have is I always think Leo looks cool. So I opened my first box, and it's Leonardo. And it's the same card that I just showed you. This is how cool is that? Look how big it is. Like, it is ginormous. So I got Leo. I'm going to show you all of them. And I was showing Jessie, and she goes, and I was like, I think I'm going to open them. And I was talking about building a shelf specifically just for the Mondo Turtles and the Mondo Super Shredder when it arrives. That will be above my television, prominent display. If I don't like what I'm watching on TV, I'm going to look up and I'm going to see these pieces of art, these things of beauty. They are incredible. This team should be patted on the back. They are incredible. And she goes, "Yeah, but they're kind of cool in packet." And it's like, I don't want to hear that. So that's my alarm telling me to put my bins out, because my bin night changed since we've moved. Who have we got next? What's in the box? It says what's on top of the box, but I've opened it in a way that I can't see. Okay. So once again, just to show, like, this is how it comes. That's the backing board. Like, the backing boards are the same. I'm going to use the backing boards for my display, but as I remove the bubble wrap very somewhat carefully, actually, I kind of hope I wreck the box so that way it forces me to open it. It does have a warning on the back of the bubble wrap. Warning, voice. Yeah, I'm not going to. Michelangelo. How sweet is Mikey? I love the tongue out expression. It just makes him look goofy, makes him look like the party dude that he is. Just look how big. Look at it. Look how big it is. Look at it. I am in love with these. Like, these make me so happy and makes me sad that for whatever licensing reasons Aussies can't get these. Like, because these are maybe the greatest Ninja Turtles ever made, just visually. It's right up my alley. All right, mystery turtle. I can't see on the top. Who is it? I've opened it upside down. Have I? I can see purple. I think I saw purple. It's funny that if it's going to be Raph that I actually get to see laugh, considering he was the one I purchased first and the reason I got into the line. It makes me so happy. Like, Donatello looks so cool. Like, I know what Jesse's saying. If I was a rich man, I maybe have a certain thing, but they're so well painted and stuff. I have to free them from their plastic prisons. Mondo, I know it might cost a bit extra, but we're already paying through the nose as collectors and we love your work. If you can create resealable packaging, it would be greatly appreciated. But I don't want to resell these. I always talk about I don't buy to resell. I buy to it is so cool. Like, I can't describe how happy these action figures are making me. Like, thank God there's a female in the world that finds me attractive and loves me. Because you always see those videos of people saying collecting action figures is one of the least attractive traits of the male. But I'm sure professional wrestling's right up there, and I've worked in professional wrestling for 25 years now. Yeah, he's the boy that got me into it. My favorite turtle. Always loved Raph. I loved funny Raph in the 80s cartoon. I loved that angry Raph. Cricket, you got to understand what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Oh, look at him. It's my boy. I'm like a proud dad. Look at Raph. Look at him. Oh, man. Like, do I rip one open just to do it? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Like, because they're so expensive. Like, but like, it has cost me a lot of money to have all 4 turtles, but I have, like, Donnie, like, I need you to, like, talk to Raph. Like, we're having, like, it's like an angel and a devil on my shoulder, like, going, but look how good I look in package. It's like, shut up, bro. Open me so you can display me with your weapons. Oh, I don't have the room. I collect loose. Like, look around me. Like, everything's loose. There's no way back now. I've done it. Thank you for the extra backing up, Mondo. Where's my knife with doom? Be very gentle. I know this is not an exciting way of opening, but I've done it. I've done it. I know I'm a weirdo, but I love the smell. I like the. You don't know. Oh, I don't think I've had toys that have made me this happy in a long time. I'm not like, for those that don't know, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm bipolar, right? So I have highs and have lows. I take medication for my condition and stuff. So sometimes my emotional regulation, or should I be heating this up to get the size in? I don't know. My emotional regulation can be off, but I'm telling you, I'm tearing. I slightly teared almost, like a grown man, because it made me so happy to have this. Like, and this is why I collect, because toys make me happy. Like I always say, I'm trying to impress 10-year-old me. Well, 10-year-old me would be impressed. Look at that. Look at that. He is so cool. Like I love I I love him. Like that is one of, or instantly one of the favorite, my most favorite toys. Like I thank you, Mondo, for making these. Like I I'm so happy. Like so happy. Like Raf, do you need a friend to join you? Like yeah, he does. Let's go. Donatello, we're just gonna do it. Like let's open them all. Like let's go crazy. Like why not? Like, what could it hurt? Jesse's gonna think I've lost my mind. Oh, like I am like this is the nerdiest video. People can mock me. People can do everything, but that's I don't care. I love this. Like, how do you display your Donny? I always sort of have him holding his bow across his body a little bit. But I don't know. Like, do you stick it in the back? Things are a little tight ski. I sort of I feel like I should be heating up a little bit, but I did get the size in, and they feel pretty flexible. So I know it's not, as I'm wrestling with this toy, I just don't want to break it, you know. That would be total heartbreak. But I do sort of like him holding it sort of across this way. I'll muck around with the display a little bit more later, but oh, like these toys are so cool. Like Mecha Godzilla still on the desk, just for those keeping count. Mecha still on the desk. He's always at risk for those that are watching this for the first time. So here we have Donnie and Raph. Like the level of display and everything on them. Like, please, whoever is blocking the rights for this to come out to Australia, please let other Aussies have this. I want other collectors to experience what I'm experiencing, because, you know, like, could I afford these? Well, I've got them, but not easily. Does that make sense? You know, like it was a lot of money. Like I've talked about, my collecting budget's almost done for the year. My collecting budget's almost done for the year. And, this mic is and sometimes you've got to make choices, you know. And Mondo, congratulations. You, between your real Ghostbusters and your Turtles, you took my budget. You know, I do have the Hasbro Ecto 1 coming this year as well. So it's like, don't cry for me. It's a big year for toys. These nunchucks feel amazing. I'm probably freaking people out. Probably freaking, if Mondo was watching, they'd be going, dude, Do you know what you're doing? And the answer is no. Um, no, I don't, and that's always been a problem with me. Is I'm hopeless with this sort of stuff. Alrighty, so I did a bit of a pause because I just want to be extra careful with it. Here is Mikey. So much fun. Like that design. And here's the reason I had to get more when I prepared earlier. Look at this Leo. Is this not like is this not the greatest Leonardo that's ever been made? Like he's incredible. Like these Ninja Turtles are all you need. If you sell every other turtle figure you have and just have these four, like these are the perfect representation of the turtles for me. Like I know some people won't like this squishiness and everything, but I love it. Like that, it's right up my alley. Like, look, like Raph and Leo argue over who's going to be leader, and you know, uh, it's just I always think Raph and Leo sort of go together, and then these two chuckleheads sort of hang out and get into adventures. I think I might. I don't know. Does Donnie should he have the bow crossed, or should he just have it one? Or do I stick Donnie's bow in the back and just have him around? I don't know yet, but I'm happy. Like this is why we collect. Like I know this isn't great audio for those people that only like listening to the podcast version of the show, and I apologize. Sometimes a refreshing thoughts podcast is going to be it's going to need the visuals. The, the, these are some of the toys of my dreams. Like, and I know that's hyperbole and an overstatement, but if you ask me, Chris, what would you want to collect? This is it. Like this. I love this. This things have been hard, and toys are a very positive part of my life. It's why I wanted to do a video podcast talking about them and the happiness that they can bring. Because I think people don't understand it sometimes. Of to look around and I know you can't get a wide shot of my collection room, but I look around and I see different eras of me. Like there's wrestling toys, there's the Tick, there's Marvel and DC, there's Masters of the Universe, there's Ninja Turtles, there's Voltron, there's Transformers, there's Machine Men or GoBots to my American friends. There's 89 Batman, there's Ghostbusters, real Ghostbusters, movie Ghostbusters. I've got an arcade one up of the Turtles machine. Like everywhere I look, there's a lot of Bret Hart stuff because I'm a massive Bret Hart fan. Everywhere I look makes me feel happy. And sometimes the collection can feel overwhelming. Like there's too much of it, it's a lot of money, all of that sort of stuff. But then there are days like today where I open something like the Star Wars Ronin figure when I'm not even caring about Star Wars that much, although Andor's amazing. Or Dan Leonard sends me a fanzine that throws me back to the 90s, or you have a great experience at All Star Comics, or you know, you get Mondo turtles that make you so happy that you um, get almost overwhelmed by how cool you think they are, how how much fun they are. Um, you know, that's what the hobby of collecting is about, isn't it? That's what brings us all together. Um, it's I've wanted refreshing thoughts in particular to be a positive experience. positive experience for me. I don't want to feel like work, even though it's technologically a challenge for me. You know, it's out of my comfort zone. This StreamYard business, I'm still getting my head around and all of that. I'm doing it by myself. I haven't had guests yet or anything. But you know, I wanted it to be positive for those watching. You know, it's easy to sit there and go, I don't like this or this is shitty. And you know, you'll hear me do that on the Geek Dudes podcast. You know, there's no shortage of that. You know, we do have our fun and stuff, but you know, we'll shit on stuff on there too. But I wanted this just to be me talking about my passion because what I found when I was watching things like Geek Dad Life and stuff, I enjoyed their enjoyment. And even like someone like Mad Hatter, who can be on the snarkier side at times, he loves what he loves. And when he does love something, he's passionate about it, and you love feeling that joy. And in my old age, of 46, um, I know I'm not that old. Um, I love hearing other people be happy and passionate because there's a lot in the world, be it politically, be it culturally, be it you know, or anything. Like there's a lot. It could overwhelm you. So let's try and seek out and find what makes us happy. And like, if this, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars it cost me to get to Australia was worth it. It just was like this feeling I had opening them. I'm kind of happy that it's been captured on film. A little embarrassed almost. Um, yeah, but I loved it. I love them. They make me very happy. Um, it's put me in a good mood. I can't wait to display them. It's going to stress me out getting it displayed perfectly, and to know that you know we were able to sort of order through Canadian friend Colin Betts the super shredder and get it shipped to him, and he will ship to us. You know, and it's going to be a very expensive experience again to get that shipped here. I know I'm going to think it's really cool. And I know inevitably Mondo is going to do Bebop and Rocksteady. And I love Bebop and Rocksteady. I collect a lot of Bebop and Rocksteady. They're my boys. And you just saw that. Like, could you imagine in this style a Bebop and Rocksteady? It's going to be incredible. Um, I don't know what the licensing reasons are. Sometimes it just is what it is, you know. For whatever reason, certain companies can't ship to certain countries. Sometimes Australia gets lucky, very rarely. Australia, New Zealand. Other times we don't, you know, it's like the Joy Toy stuff doesn't ship to America. Doesn't really ship to Australia, but AliExpress can. You know, there are ways around it, but I'm really glad I went out of my way to get them. You know, I had moments of regret, you know, when you're paying that postage fee and everything like that, you know, it makes you go, was this a bridge too far? You know, did I need these? Am I going to flip these because it's too much money and everything? It's like, never. I love these. Like a lot of my other turtle stuff would go before I'd let these go. Um, Mondo, uh, like, let me read your names again. Hector, Alex Brewer, Mark Bristow, Jordan Christensen, Aaron Conley. Thank you. Like the joy this has brought me. You guys, like this card, this card. I don't know if you can see that. Like you get four of them if you get all four turtles. I love it, and I'm very grateful. And that you have made this very silly man with his very little watched vanity project that does such little numbers compared to Geek Dudes and Hey It's the Podcast, and I don't care. I'm doing this for me. You know, I knew it would be a humbling experience. You know, Geek Dudes has a lot of listeners, and doing this and sometimes only getting 30 to 50 views on a video, you go, well, why are you bothering? It's like, because I'm doing this for me. And if somebody stumbles across this and goes, I saw this Aussie dude and he was rapped about his turtles and that makes them feel good, it's done its job. This has done its job. This is fulfilling for me. I got to open this and experience it on camera. It's really cool. Um, if you would like to support the show, because StreamYard's really expensive. We do have a Patreon that I've flashed up on the screen. It's $5 a month, but I understand it's an expensive world. Expensive if you want to get Mondo Turtles. Please don't support my Patreon. Get yourself the Mondo Turtles if that's going to make the difference. But $5 Australian a month, it goes towards StreamYard and goes towards Transistor FM, which hosts the podcast versions of what we do. And I appreciate everybody so far that has shown their support. I appreciate everybody that chucks a like and a subscribe to the channel. That's how it's going to help grow. Commenting. Please comment on this video, like this video. Even if you're listening audio form, just chuck on YouTube and just click a like. It all helps. And sharing it, spreading the word. If you enjoyed this, if you liked Refreshing Thoughts, if it's for you, and maybe it's not, but if it is, you can help me by sharing it. Get the word out there. But if not, I'm happy that you're here listening to me, watching me now. It's a privilege, and it's a good time. I would like to thank my good friends at Shine Worldwide that provide Heads Are Gonna Roll, which is the intro music. Go follow them on Spotify and YouTube and iTunes and Tinder and everywhere that I'm sure you'd find the boys from the Shine. They are rock and roll done right in this day and age. And yeah, if you're in Melbourne, come to Wrestle Rock May 9th. You'll see me in a kilt doing something very silly, but it's probably going to make this a very dated reference, but I don't care. Also, I just want to say thank you. Thank you again. It's fun to share this. You are indulging me, indulging myself with something that makes me very, very happy. I'll hold up Leo one more time because I don't think I showed Leo enough. Like, he is really cool. I'm Chris Fresh. This is Refreshing Thoughts, and I love toys. I'm never going to grow up. I'm always going to try impressing 10-year-old me. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this as I enjoyed recording it. Thank you.